Hi, I'm Alan. This is a video. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to more Geometry Dash. Today, we're going to be checking out something that I really like. Something that I've been very passionate about for many, many years now. It is the memory daemon list. Right here, what we have is the memory daemon list spreadsheet, which is a spreadsheet that was created by Akuna back in October in 2021 and is currently managed by Smile Bullet. Shout out Smile Bullet. He is the person who showed to me to begin with. Very cool person. Safe Space, Some Wild Seal, Arcturus 97, and Z Flamingo. And it is essentially just a demon list, but it ranks all memory demons, and they have a very specific criteria for what creates a memory demon. And there are some levels on this that are very interesting choices for memory that most people just wouldn't expect to be memory. Like you have stuff like Limbo, obviously, Killbot, but then there are certain levels that you look at and you're like, that doesn't look like memory, until you actually look at it and you realize, yeah, that's memory. So what we're doing today is we're going to be checking it out. We're going to be taking a look at the memory demon list and hopefully beat a level or two, maybe probably one. I'm too lazy to do more than one. The memory level, after all. Anyway, as for always, I will be linking this spreadsheet down in the description for you guys to go check out for yourself. They actually have level packs and weeklies and monthlies. So every single week they have a new highlighted memory demon that they want you to try out and play for yourself, and you get list points basically. And as you can see here, they have like a ranking of people who have the most amount of list points. As you can see, Melody and Drew over here, they're kind of crushing it. I'm not gonna lie. Why is there a thumbnail of me here that says the CIA's absurd plot to assassinate Fidel Castro? Huh. Anyway, so these are the guidelines to determine whether or not something is memory. Because memory has no clear definition among players, the memory demon list has determined their own guidelines for what is and what isn't a memory level. First and foremost, the level must be rated. So no stuff like Doomsday 3, 99, or Memory Demon Mix, which is completely valid. The level must also be rated demon, obviously. The memory demon list is not a hard definition for what is and what isn't memory. Everyone has their own definition, and as it doesn't have any universally accepted meaning. However, they exclude extremely learning levels like Sig Egg, Veil, and flow levels. However, obviously everyone is entitled to their opinion. If you think something like Veil is considered a memory level, then that's your definition. However, on this demon list, it's not included because they don't think so. And that's completely fair. Easy to learn doesn't make it not memory, at least most of the time. For example, Neonice. Easy memory is still memory. As long as it reaches the required percentage to use for us to consider it, it typically counts. We do not count levels by how difficult it is to learn. We instead count levels based on how much memory is included. Levels that have a primary skill set like Apollo 13 being a wave level, or PG Clubs at Rebirth by being ship-oriented, but if it has enough memory alongside that, it is counted. Apollo 13 is counted as a memory level in this because it does have a lot of fakes and it is pretty learny, so that is completely reasonable, I think. We also do not rank levels on the list by how difficult they are to learn, only by the level's overall difficulty like any other demon list. So something like the mainframe would not be number 2 on the list because the only level that's actually harder for it to learn than it is like of Ambrosia, but it's actually ranked by difficulty, so Limbo is not number 1, obviously, right? Our percent requirements for a level to be considered memory are the following. Easy demon must be at least 35 to 40% memory to be eligible for a server poll. Anything above 40% is an instant pass. Medium to extreme demons must have at least 50% memory to be eligible for server poll. Anything above 60% is an instant pass, which is completely fair. If you want to have a memory demon list, you have to have like strict, rigid requirements for it to be considered memory, because otherwise it just becomes this like weird blob of gray nothingness where people just can't agree. Having strict requirements, very reasonable, very valid. Anyway, what is considered memory? Mazes, gameplay fakes, fake blocks, everything like that, blind transitions and blind jumps. This does include buffers, invisible gameplay, deco that is obscured to such a degree that you must learn in order to play it. For example, stuff like Requiem. Requiem doesn't even really have any fake, but the decoration itself obscures the gameplay a lot. We do not count dual levels or Dual Knight, Celestial Force, and Lotus Flower, or learning levels, such as these. Despite their learning curve, they often lack the aspect of making up our requirements, which is reasonable, right? Minigame levels are accepted if they fall under Rule 6 and 7. Boss fights are considered, but only if the boss lack or have incorrect indicators, which is reasonable. Have a boss fight, a fair one. Osiris is another fair one. That makes complete sense. Intro and end screen sequences are discounted from the level percentage. That's completely reasonable. Custom orbs and portals can fall under the memory qualification as well, but only if they are difficult to read. Blackened orbs and portals, like 24% in sequence in Nhelv, or the orbs in theory of Xenon's drop, are some examples. Anyway, cool. That probably took a really long time, but I think it is very important for you guys to understand the requirements for what is a memory level, because otherwise people are going to be like, oh my god, that level is not memory. What are you talking about? Why is that level on the memory demon list? It's not memory. So I wanted to go through the rules just so that you guys have a decent understanding of what actually makes up the rules, because I think understanding what the rules are is a very important thing. Anyway, for the ranking, obviously number 1 is Limbo, number 2 is Nhelv, and number 3 is Requiem. I don't think anyone was surprised about that in the slightest, so I've beaten 2 of the top 3. Very cool. Will I beat Limbo? Probably not. Anyway, we have like controller, random access memory of Ambrosia is pretty high up. And then you have Goner, the mainframe. I love the fact that the mainframe is this high. That is partially my fault, but it should be there. Retention Rush. So as you can see, there's a lot of levels I've beaten here. I think I've beaten like 8 of the top 20, 8 or 9, something like that, which is kind of crazy to think about. Then you have stuff like Super Pro level, the Moon Below. The Moon Below was like the first one that I was like think W about, but the Moon Below makes sense because the first half of the level is like completely memory based, and the ship part does require some really funky paths. That doesn't look like it is the path that you're supposed to take. So it does make sense that this is the memory level. Is it up for debate? Absolutely, but under the rigid requirements of the list, it just makes sense, right? Then you have stuff like Killbot, Future Chaos, which I'm beating soon, which is much harder than I expected it to be. Oh boy, that's gonna be scary. You have Zyroid Kabi, and Miss You, Betrayal of Fate. But then you see, like, there's very quickly kind of like derails. Like, you have stuff like Alpha by X. There's a lot of levels that you wouldn't think are memory, right? Like, I did not think of Seismic Lock as a memory level. But then I look at it, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Cave of Heart, I'm surprised makes this list just because of the fact that it has memory, but I never thought of it as like a pure memory level. I kind of just beat it, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Then just moved on with my life, right? 666, ABP, Marathon, Manic Machine, maybe possibly Thing, Loop, Halberd, all that stuff. Like, very reasonable stuff, right? Then you have stuff like In Canon and Schmox over Lost Love, Miscellaneous Memory, and Troll Level, which are, these 3 are extreme, and these 2 are Insane Demon. So that's an interesting one, I think. Does that mean In Canon and Schmox should be extreme demons? I don't know, maybe. The My Machine, Object. Invisible Deadlock is number 44, which is an interesting one because it's such I feel like Invisible Deadlock is such a controversial one because it's so easy to cheese, right? Boom Shakalaka. PG Clubs at Rebirth, as was mentioned earlier, is like one of those weird cases where it's like there's so much memory in it, even though it's not really a memory level, that it just becomes memory, right? Then you have Diablo, verified by AeonAir, the greatest player of all time, the god gamer himself. And as you go further down, you see a lot of like interesting picks, right? Like Apollo 13 was one that a lot of people were like, oh, that's cool, right? Game Switch, which is a mini game. And I think this list is really, really cool. I really, 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 really like this list. I think it's super sick, super awesome. And I really like just everything about this, right? I think it's really cool to just see, I think it's just cool to see all of these really neat levels. I think this is really awesome. I love memory demon lists. Memory demon lists like this are super awesome, ultra mega cool, and I love it. This actually has a leaderboard, and you're never gonna believe who the #1 memory player of all time is, apparently, according to this list. Probably not after I've released this video, because everyone and their mother is gonna join and be like, oh my god, I'm better than AeonAir. That's right, I'm #1. I have 25 list completions, 174 list points, which is 61 points above #2, which is Brumic, which is a really talented player, just because of the fact that I shredded the top end. Like, as you can see here, compared to everyone else, I have like a bunch of completions in the very top of the list, right? But I also have a ton of insane completions, right? So I'm just kind of like shredding right like that, right? Because I'm cool, I'm awesome, I'm sick. That sounds like I'm tooting my own horn, which kind of I am. But I've just kind of like made my name as the memory guy. Memory, my thing, you know, really cool. So being #1 kind of just makes sense. People are definitely gonna pass me though after this video, but that's completely fine. I do want to try and beat a memory demon real quick for this video. I'm gonna be back in a couple minutes once I decide. We have Demon Descended by Alkali. This is the level that I chose. Why? No particular reason. I just thought it looked cool. It's a 1.6 level, or 1.6 inspired level rather. So it's gonna be really cool. I'm very excited for this. I think this is gonna be a fun one, honestly. Okay, I can 100% go from 0 now. Very cool, very cool. I've been playing this for like 20-ish minutes, so not too bad, not too bad, I would say. 3%! Okay, we're gaming off to a great start. 5? No way, I died of that? Oh, that sucks. 13, I guess. That jump is really tough. 24. Man, this jump sucks. Why are there so many jumps like this? Like, these jumps are poop. Anyway, 26, there we go. No way. I died. How? 43? But how did I die to that, bro? I missed the blue orb? Oh my god. I am the greatest player to ever touch this game. How is that even possible, dude? Huh? What? Click. Click. That's genuinely frustrating, dude. Click. 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 click, 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 click. My microphone stopped working, by the way. That's why I'm clicking. Click, 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 click. That was so sketchy. Okay, I beat the level. That took a little bit longer than it should have. I skill issued myself so hard. But hey, it's a really good level. It's a very, very good level. I just played it a little bit too early on in the morning. But it's a very, very solid one. I did really like it. Anyway, please do check out the memory demon list. I'm gonna link it in the description, as I said. Check it out. Have fun with it. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys around. Eat your green, stay healthy, stay hydrated. Thank you for making my day better. Hope my day was a little bit better too. Peace out, everyone.